Hi, hello. Just give it a few minutes and then I'll introduce the subject. So yeah, sometimes I can't make it at 5 and so I change it to 6 o'clock. So to be kept informed of those changes, you can check on my Facebook page. It will say, yeah, I haven't got a title, so this is a non-duality talk. Hi, Andrea. So Saeed suggested something to start me off. So Saeed has written, this freedom doesn't come from knowledge. Can you say more about that? This freedom doesn't come from knowledge. Yes, that's a great start. Prompt. Yeah, that's like such a huge part of awakening, beginning to realize that there's something beyond thinking, like beginning to realize that thoughts are thoughts appearing, they're movements appearing, they aren't reality. So for a time, let's say for a time period, it's felt like you, obviously you didn't know that at the time, but you and what you know and what ideas you have about reality, about the world, that feels to be like reality. That is a fact, and it's true, and it's the way it is. It's just the way it is. That's the norm. That's the way it's, it's very much taken to be true. And that's the only kind of reality that is known. Thought reality, dream reality, story reality, concept reality, learning, knowledge. And so to begin to hear this message being spoken beyond that, beyond the meaning of words, beyond the concepts and ideas we genetically have, conditioned to have, all of that, like beyond all of that, those ideas, there's something else beyond that. That is like a really mind-blowing part of awakening, to begin to discover that thoughts are thoughts. They're not truth. They appear and disappear. They aren't reality. That is massive. That's huge. That is huge. Like for a long time, particularly if you're into like meditation or whatever, you go through a process of trying to stop your thoughts, still your thoughts, find that place where there's no thought. When at some point there's this realization or something that stillness, that no thought is here, always here. Thoughts come and disappear, but it doesn't cover up anything. It doesn't cover up this. It's a thought, it's a dream happening. That there's a freedom here beyond you. There's a freedom here beyond thought. There's a freedom here that isn't limited and contained in thinking, the thinking mind. That is totally radical, to awaken to the now, as some teachers say, at this moment, this freedom, which isn't contained in time, which isn't contained in thinking. That is radical. Radical. That full stop is radical. That freedom. The prison is in the thinking. Not in the thinking, just thinking, but it's in the identity to the thinking, the attachment to the thinking, the one who feels they exist as someone. This thinking mind, this thinking identity. That's a prison. And it's stifling, contracting. So yeah, like on this awakening path, you, like all of life, you believe in this process of getting somewhere in time, that you are going to learn things and pick things up and understand things, and it's going to move you forward closer in time. And so that's the way the mind thinks. That's the way it is. I mean, practically, that's the way it is. You know, you want to learn how to fix computers, you kind of have to go through a process of learning, you know, the motherboard and this and that. And it seems to be a time, knowledge, learning process. Whereas I guess this is, in a way, that as well, there is learning that happens along the way. It's learning about learning these concepts and ideas and these beliefs, challenging them, So it isn't to disregard that. That does happen. But the freedom isn't in that. The freedom isn't in learning about non-duality. The freedom is the freedom is free. The freedom is not bound in time. Freedom is freedom. That's why it's freedom. It's not bound in a process of getting to something. It's free. It's free. It's free. It can't be any other way than free. That's why it's freedom. But the person, however, is locked into its journey in time, who it is, what it has, what it knows, what it's going to get to. It's in that realm. Whereas freedom doesn't belong to that realm. That's why it's impossible for the person to become free. It doesn't live in the same neighborhood. It's totally in its own dream. So this is about this radical freedom, and it isn't anyone's property or anyone's thing. It's free. And so, but the person's in me and mine and them and you and and world and time and past and future and me and so it can't hear. It can't, even when it thinks it's hearing it, it's only hearing it through its own me realm filter. And so the freedom isn't for that construct of thinking. It isn't for that. The freedom's radical. It's here. It's this. That dream's appearing here, but the dream can't get out of the dream. To recognize that the dream is the dream. This freedom is free. It's just free. You can't take it into the dream and be free as a dream person. It's free. So this endless seeking of the person, this endless seeking, addiction to time and seeking in the story and journey of, it's a part of that dream, and it believes it's going to get somewhere, and it totally isn't. It will also hear that as a depressing thing. Oh, I'm never going to get there. It's not. That's not true either. That's part of the dream, part of this delusion of someone. They will get it. They won't get it. It's still the same dream. Whereas this is speaking about just the natural reality, the innocent reality, which is this. Can't be anything other than this. Not this as a story or as a thought or as an idea, but actually this, what is happening. The dissolving of this dream character. The dissolving of this story of someone, story of time being real. I don't want to say there's no character. It's a bit misleading that, because there is a character, there is like still functioning, but it's difficult to clarify that. Yeah, they're still functioning, there's still the character, there's still behaviors, but it's the end of that being someone, of that being a real someone, of that being the reality. It's like the sky. If you use the sky example, an analogy, metaphor, whatever it is, like the cloud can be there, so the character, conditioned human being can be there as part of the functioning, as part of the software, or yeah, but it can't possibly obscure the sky. It can't obscure the sky. that shift has happened where it can't anymore obscure the sky. So the sky can be full of clouds, very cloudy, grey, or it can be light clouds, whatever. It doesn't really matter anymore. The sky is the sky. This is what it is. It's not happening to a cloud anymore. The cloud's not taking ownership and being the center figure anymore. So yeah, this freedom doesn't come from knowledge, from learning. It's a primal. It's a primal. It's primal. It's primal. It's the original. Hi, Harsha. So what doesn't come from knowledge? What is simply here? That can't be learned in a book. What is just simply here? It knows nothing. What is simply here? Like what hasn't been through an awful experience, what hasn't been through a good experience, what hasn't, I don't know, been married, what doesn't have kids, what doesn't work in this place or that place, get fired, what is. It wasn't brought here in time, has no history, isn't going anywhere, has no future. What is? Thank you, Saeed, for that starter. You gave me a starter. Like it's got nothing to do with me, but efforts of me not being able to do anything could also be called freedom. I'm not sure what you mean by that. It's a bit confusing. Lots of love in the chat. So the story and feeling of feeling like I'm not able to do anything, I can't do anything, or I am doing something, I'm getting there, or I can't get there. Obviously, ultimately, it's freedom, because everything is, but that's not true. It's not true. The story of someone who can get there or who can't get there, that's a story from an illusion that is claiming to be someone, claiming to be a separate someone, an autonomous separate someone. And they can feel good, I can do it, I can make it, I can achieve it, woohoo! Or it can feel like I can't do it, I can't get there, I'm hopeless, I'm useless, there's no point, or it can feel heavy and like that. So you can call that freedom as well, because everything is freedom, everything's just happening. But that dream is often believed in. It's believed to be true. It's believed to be who you are. Like this heaviness to it. I am someone. I am an individual. I am separate. I am real. It's trying to live. It's trying to live, really, I guess, trying to exist. Whether it be good or bad, it's trying to exist and get that validity that it is real and it is, I can't do it, then but it's not true. It's not true. Either way, whatever it's saying and expressing, it's not true. But of course, everything is freedom. This is freedom. So if the person thinks it can do it or it can't do it, it doesn't really matter. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. It'll probably feel different, feeling you can compared to feeling like you can't. But either way, both of those are dreams or illusions. And that's what's being spoken about here. The illusion that there is someone separate, that there is an actual separate individual person. And the heaviness and suffering that can bring. When it feels like that is true, when it feels like that is real, when that fog or those clouds are being experienced as truth, as who I am, as real. And what's being spoken about here, that isn't true, that isn't, that story and feeling of someone isn't actually reality. It's a dream happening. It's a false identification happening, a false attachment happening. Yeah, so you're free to send any questions now in the chat. Oops. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Saeed. Yeah, this is resonated with. This message is resonated with. I think it's strongly resonated with. It's just what tends to happen is the mind, the person, the story of someone pops up and thinks it's to do with it, thinks it is here and it's resonating with it. It tries to claim a position, a place in this. Like it's gotten used to being the center stage or living in that dream as if it's the center stage, the main character. So this sounds radical to be dethroning that, to be pointing beyond that, outside of that dream. And yet here this is. Here this is. Hey, hey. I think all the questions dried up. Okay, okay, lovelies. Yeah. Lots of love. Bye.